So why do we fail at our biggest, most important goals so often? It's a struggle we all face. But what if I told you there's this counterintuitive secret and it's backed by actual neuroscience that can completely flip the odds in your favor? All right, let's break it down. Oh, we have all been there, right? You get that huge burst of January motivation, you start that exciting new project, you swear you're finally going to learn that new skill. You start out super strong, full of energy, and then, well, life happens. The momentum just kind of fades, and that big goal just quietly disappears. And trust me, you are not alone in this, not even close. The statistics are just staggering. Research shows that a full 80% of New Year's resolutions fail, and get this, most of them are gone before February even ends. This is not a coincidence, folks. It's actually a predictable pattern, and it even has a name. Yeah, behavioral scientists call this the valley of disappointment. It's that frustrating gap between the fast, straight-line progress we think we should be making and the slow, grinding reality of how things actually start. This right here is the danger zone. It's where motivation goes to die, and most of us just give up. So, how do we get across that valley? Well, it's not about having more willpower. It's about using a completely different strategy. And the first clue to solving this whole puzzle comes from a pretty unexpected place, the factory floors of post-war Japan. So our story kicks off in post-World War II Japan. You have a nation facing this absolutely monumental task of rebuilding its entire economy pretty much from scratch. And out of this environment, companies like Toyota developed a totally new way of thinking. It wasn't about massive, expensive overhauls. Instead, a simple management training program that started in 1951 just grew and grew, eventually made its way to the West, and today it's a global cornerstone for success. The philosophy is called Kaizen, which literally means change for the better. And the core idea is so simple but so profound. Forget the giant breakthrough. Instead, focus on small, continuous, ongoing improvements. It's about creating a culture where everyone is always looking for tiny ways to get just a little bit better. And look, this isn't just some vague, feel-good idea. It is a practical system. The engine that drives Kaizen is this simple 4-step loop. You plan a small change, you do it, you check the results, and then you act, either by making it the new standard or by starting the whole cycle over again. It's a relentless, repeatable process for improving, day after day. Okay, now what's really cool is how this industrial philosophy from the 1950s has worked its way into some of the most popular self-improvement books you see today. Turns out, the principle of small, continuous improvement isn't just for factories. It's a universal law of success. I mean, check this out. Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect, captures the exact same logic. Small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals radically significant results. Sound familiar? And this slide just nails the two competing mindsets. Over on the left, you've got that all-or-nothing approach that, sends you straight into the valley of disappointment. But on the right, you have the 1% better mindset, which you'll recognize from books like Atomic Habits. That's the one that builds momentum through small, consistent wins. Okay, so we know this philosophy worked wonders for Japanese industry, and we know it's a core idea in modern self-help. But now we get to the really fascinating part, the science of why it works so well. Because it's not just a good idea, it's literally how our brains are wired for success. So why? Why is making just a tiny bit of progress so much more powerful than dreaming about some giant leap? Well, the secret isn't in our muscles or our willpower, it's actually in our brain chemistry. And it all comes down to this one famous, but honestly widely misunderstood chemical in our brains, dopamine. We love to call it the pleasure chemical, but that's kind of a myth. What neuroscience actually shows is that its main job is motivation. It's the chemical of anticipation. When your brain releases dopamine, it's not just saying, "Ooh, that felt good." It's shouting, "Hey, that worked. Let's do that again." It is the very essence of drive. So here's how you can literally hack your own biology for success. When you achieve a small, tangible win, even something as simple as checking an item off a to-do list, your brain's reward pathway lights up. Bam. You get a little hit of dopamine. This creates a feeling of satisfaction and, crucially, a jolt of motivation. That motivation then makes it easier to take the next small step, which creates another win, and yep, another dopamine hit. It's this amazing, addictive, upward spiral of progress. And hey, this isn't just some theory. A Harvard researcher named Teresa Amabile proved it. After digging through thousands of journal entries, she found that the single biggest motivator, bigger than huge bonuses or anything else, was simply making a little bit of progress on meaningful work. She called it the progress principle. Small wins are literally the fuel for motivation. So here's the bottom line. If we want to stay motivated, we have to feed our brains a steady diet of these small wins. The real question is, how do we do that on purpose? How do we turn this science into a practical, everyday toolkit that we can actually use? Well, the very first step is to make your progress visible. If that dopamine hit comes from recognizing the win, then you have to set up a system that forces you to see it. It's like Darren Hardy says, all winners are trackers. You've got to measure what you want to improve. And, modern technology makes this super easy. Habit tracking apps are basically designed to be dopamine delivery systems. An app like Streaks is minimalist. It's all about the deep satisfaction of not breaking the chain. Then you have something like Habitica, which uses gamification to turn your goals into a fun little RPG with levels and rewards. And Way of Life is all about the data, helping you see your progress visually so you can avoid giving up after one little misstep. So let's just boil this all down into 4 simple strategies you can use right away. 1. Start ridiculously small. Make the first step so easy you can't possibly say no to it. 2. Use habit stacking. Attach your new tiny habit to a routine you already have. 3. Track it visually. Don't just do it, see it. Check the box, fill in the circle. And finally, 4. Celebrate every single win to keep that dopamine loop spinning. And really, that's the heart of it all. We've gone from a factory in post-war Japan all the way to the frontiers of neuroscience, and the lesson is exactly the same. The path to your biggest ambitions doesn't require some superhuman willpower. It just requires mastering the simple, powerful art of the small, visible, consistent win. So forget about the giant leap for now. The most important question you can ask yourself is this: what is the one tiny, ridiculously small step you can take today? Because that, right there, is where the real journey begins.